So first thing to say is congratulations to you. You have either passed the knowledge papers F1 to F3, or you've been granted exemptions from those papers, and so you are moving into the ACCA stream of skill papers. So what are you letting yourself in for? What is there for you now? What is there for you now then are these six skills papers from F4 to F9. F4 dealing with corporate and business law, F5 performance management, F6 taxation, F7 financial reporting, F8 audit and assurance, and F9 financial management. You have got to pass or be exempted from all of these skill papers before you can move on to the professional papers at the next level. With the skills papers, they can be done in any order. However, and we do emphasize the however, they are best done in some form of numerical order. We tend to think that 4, 5, and 6, they are slightly easier than 7, 8, and 9, less demanding, shall we say. And it's probably better if you start in that order, the 4, 5s, and 6s, before you move on to the 7, 8s, and 9s, which are quite demanding in the amount of knowledge that you have to learn, and therefore the amount of skills that are required in applying that knowledge to a given exam situation. We're not going to go into detail of each one of these papers. We're looking at the essential requirements that you need to be able to pass these skill papers. So what we're looking at is really a couple of slides, certainly for the first few papers, and then the last couple of papers doing a single slide on there. A question has just come through. The question is being asked, is it okay to do F6 before F5? And the answer to that one would be yes. They don't really link into each other, so they are independent papers. F6 dealing with the tax, F5 performance management. So you don't need knowledge from F5 moving into F6. So it would be in order, no major issues going F6 before the F5 paper. I think what we're trying to say is you want to do a combination of F4, 5, and 6 before you move into 7, 8, and 9. But again, just to emphasize, there is no regulated order that you must do them in. So you could, if you wanted to, do F9 first. We do not advise it, neither do most tutors, would not advise that, but there is flexibility in the system on there. So just to emphasize then, doing F6 taxation before F5 performance management shouldn't be a major problem. And if taxation is your skill, if you're working in tax consultancy or tax issues on there, then maybe it is better to do that first to give yourself a nice gentle move in on a subject that you are familiar with. And similarly, if you're coming from the legal sector and want an accounting qualification, then obviously we would say do F4, the corporate and business law first. So each individual is different, and therefore we can't give a rule as such, but there's flexibility. And within that flexibility, we would tend to say 4, 5, and 6, then 7, 8, and 9. Some of you may have exemptions up to maybe 7, 8, and 9, but obviously then you've got to come in at the higher levels. So what we are intending to do, what I'm intending to do then for the next 40 minutes or so is just to give you an overview of each of these papers and to make you aware of the pitfalls, the common problems that students have, problems that are mentioned time and time again by the various examiners.